Good evening, and thank you all for being here tonight. It is now 6:31 p.m. due to some technical difficulties, and I'm calling the meeting to order. Ms. Wilson, was confirmation of notice given to the media?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much. All 7 board members are present and accounted for. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Moved by trustee Martin, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Beats, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposers? Ayes have it, motion carries. School board meetings are public forums where we are able to discuss critical issues surrounding the education of the children in our communities. They also serve as an opportunity for citizens to share their thoughts on various issues that may come before the board. This latter component occurs during a designated time at each board meeting. Within the confines of the point of the meeting from being called to order to adjournment, this is a point at which citizens should address their concerns to the board. Ex parte communications between citizens who attend board meetings should always be civil and constructive, even on points of disagreement. Personal attacks against any individual or group of individuals are inappropriate at any time, immediately before, during, or after a board meeting. We will warn citizens who engage in such conduct, and then, if a second offense occurs, the sergeant-at-arms will direct that they be escorted out of the meeting. If the conduct is so severe that it constitutes a disruption to the order of the meeting, the sergeant-at-arms will escort the individuals involved out of the meeting immediately. Any disruption of good order will necessitate the removal of all individuals involved in initiating or sustaining the disruption. Now we're going to hear a welcome by Wyatt Strange, an 8th grade student here at Lawrence Middle School, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, Kia Spurgeon and Zion Hunter, 7th grade students here. And then the Lawrence Middle School band, Corliss, will give us a presentation. Thank you.
Can everyone hear me all right? Good evening. My name is Wyatt Strange. I am an 8th grader here at Lawrence Middle School, and I would like to welcome the Lawrence District 55 faculty and staff, members of the School District Board of Trustees, the administration, students, and members of our community. I would also like to give a special welcome to our superintendent, Dr. Stephen Peters. Over the past few weeks since August, our teachers and administrators have been working very hard in our district to make it the best it can possibly be. So I would like to give them a round of applause for all of their hard work this quarter. And now I would like to welcome 2 other Lawrence Middle School students who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good evening. My name is Zion Hunter.
My name is Kai Spurgeon.
I'm pleased to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Exciting ways we share music with others is through playing holiday music for our community. Our first location will be an elementary school where we play childhood favorites like the following. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, go. Retirement Center. The residents enjoy more traditional carols such as Joy to the World. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, ready, go. Our caroling trip is one way we can positively impact our community. Spreading holiday cheer through music is always a rewarding experience for us and our audiences. We hope you enjoy our final selection. We wish you a Merry Christmas. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Let's give our caroliers another round of applause under the direction of Ms. Hanton. Thank you so much. As they are exiting the room, we're going to present Principal Anna Brink here at Lawrence Middle School, along with some student presenters as she gives her report, followed by Dr. Thomas, who's Director of Research, Testing, and Accountability as regards our state assessment data report. Ms. Brink, thank you so much.
Again, I want to welcome you to Lawrence Middle School this evening. It's always such an honor for us to host our board meeting. I hope that we're able to give you a small glimpse into all the wonderful things that are going on at Lawrence Middle School. It's always such a pleasure to do the principal's report at the board meeting. Tonight I wanted to employ some of our wonderful students, because if anybody knows what's going on in a school building, it's the students. So we're going to give a little bit of a report, and I'm going to let them also give you a glimpse into what's going on at Lawrence Middle School as well. And I have my assistant principal, my wonderful assistant principal, Mr. J.R. Reed. He's going to be Vanna White tonight, so as we go through this. Our student attendance over the last 4 months as we have started this school year has remained very consistent, which we're very pleased with. Our first 4 months, if you notice, we've stayed in 96% attendance rate each month, which is something that we are very proud of.
Hi, my name is Emma Liner. I am currently a 6th grader at Lawrence Middle School, and this is my presentation. Okay. The state has recently changed the attendance regulations, so attendance is taken in every class period, just like it is at the high school level. Regular attendance is essential for success in high school, and as we prepare for life after high school, as a new 6th grader, I feel like regular attendance has helped me academically, and as you can see, a great majority of our students feel like regular attendance is important as well.
Thank you, Emma. The next thing we'd like to talk about is our extracurricular activities.
Hi, my name is Stella Jenkins. I am currently a 7th grader at LMS. And LMS offers many extracurricular activities for our students. I am a member of National Junior Honor Society, Student Council, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, and I'm also a cheerleader. Our activities range from athletics to academics and a little bit of everything in between. As you can see, we have a wonderful ladies and gentlemen's club, athletics for boys and girls, 21st century after school program, and much more. Participating in our activities outside of the classroom is a great way to express ourselves.
Thank you, Stella. One of the things that we want to just discuss briefly, I know that Dr. Thomas is going to go over some of our data. Of course, we don't always just look at our end-of-the-year state data to guide us in our instruction. But some of the things that we do that we're proud of at Lawrence Middle School that we've looked at the end of the school year is some of our gains that we've made in some of our areas. We're very proud of it in our social studies. We made gains at the end of the school year in all grade levels, 6, 7, and 8. The state has a new baseline for science where we have changed the scoring just a little bit, and we're happy to report that as we look at the state baseline, we're either at or above the state baseline in 6th and 7th grade, and we're about 3 percentage points right there from the state baseline in 8th grade. So we're pleased at where we are there with science and social studies. In ELA, we made some gains in 6th grade and 8th grade and some great gains in 8th grade math. And so we're well on our way to making gains as measured by standardized testing. So we're really pleased with that. We are working this year in professional learning communities. As a matter of fact, we had some vertical teaming today, which went wonderfully, where we got all of our English teachers together, all grade levels and Montessori, then we had math in the afternoon, so that they had the opportunity to really meet with their curricular area teachers that they often do not have time to see during the school day because they're grouped into teams. So we're very excited about some of the things that we can do to progress monitor our students instead of waiting till the end of the school year to see our end of the year data, though we were very pleased with what we received at the end of the school year last year.
Good evening. Excuse me. Good evening. I'm Anira Press, and today this is my presentation. We work hard every day at LMS. We will begin map testing soon to track our progress. We are working on our district writing assessment as well as the State of Schools essay. So we are busy. I feel like the strong focus on academic here has prepared me for starting high school. I am excited to do my IGP soon to choose classes for the high school because I will already have my math credit since I am currently in Algebra 1.
Thank you, Yadira.
You're welcome.
So I was asked to show what's new at Lawrence Middle School. Well, we have a lot of new faces at Lawrence Middle School, but you know, it's just easy to say we've had a wonderful start to the new year, and then I turn around and it's almost December. So the old adage, you know, time flies when you're having fun and learning lots, because this week it will be December. And, you know, if you peek into the doors of our classroom, when we had principal for the day before Thanksgiving, we went into several classrooms, and even I, as the principal who gets around a good bit, was just amazed. You'll see Chromebooks going on in very many of our classrooms. Science experiments, they were making molecules one day in science class. You know, working collaboratively, reading independently, working on wonderful art projects, doing great things in physical activity, and just using their creativity. So I encourage you, if you ever need a break from what you're doing and want to come see something awesome, just come and peek in the doors. There's some really great things going on at Lawrence Middle School, and I can't do it without the wonderful teachers and the staff that's at this school. You walk in this building and it is go time from the first time that you walk in. The cafeteria staff, the custodians, the front office staff, you know, the guidance, the career staff, it is just, that we all work so well together, and it's just a wonderful place to be. Some of the newest things, we started a little friendly competition called Homeroom Hot Shots, where we compete against each other a little bit, do spirit weeks, we engage in community outreach. We did some community fundraising during Spirit Week with Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We raised over about $800 to be put towards Relay for Life. We did shoe boxes for our soldiers overseas, was one of our community projects as well. We started our first session in our Parent University series, and we had one about adjusting to middle school. most recently, as that is a hot topic for parents, is adjusting to their middle schoolers and how to learn to do that. Isn't that right, girls? Adjusting to middle school. But we've had a lot of guest speakers. We had a guest author recently, author and illustrator. That was wonderful. And our kids just you could just see, they just ate that up. And then we've had lots of community members visit our school that have been able to give us really great perspectives on their career characteristics and their life experiences outside of the walls of the classroom that sometimes our students wouldn't normally have if we didn't bring them in for them. And so we're really excited about the things going on at Lawrence Middle School and what's new, and then what has been going on for many years that works really well with some of our incentives for our students. We talked about that and we kind of laughed at our oldies but goodies, the things that are still going really well at Lawrence Middle School that we're proud of. So to end our presentation, we just had a couple of numbers up here. So we have 462 really awesome students that we hope come to school, about 95% of them, 96% of them each month, which is great. We have 62 hardworking faculty and staff members. We have 11 student organizations and clubs. We are one of 11 schools in the state of South Carolina working towards PTA School of Excellence, and that is a wonderful thing for us to be doing. We have 86 students currently enrolled in English 1 and Algebra 1 courses. We have 54 AVID students. We have 96 student athletes. And so far we've had 52 career events, which has opened our eyes of some of our students to opportunities that they may have outside of the school. So we are well on our way into December, and we are having a wonderful time, and we are learning a lot at Lawrence Middle School. And I can't do it without people like the three girls that are standing up here with me, and without our band students and the student presenters we've had, because it gives me great pleasure to see the students come up here. It puts a really big smile on my face, and that's the reason I come to work every single day. So we are glad you are here, and thank you again for coming.
Good evening. Can you all hear me? Okay. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to share with you all some of the state assessment data for Lawrence School District 55. These are the assessments that our students took during last spring of 2017. We will take a look at SC Ready, which is English and Math for grades 3 through 8, and as well as SC Pass, which is Science and Social Studies for grades 4 through 8. We will also take a look at some of the state assessments for high school, but most importantly, after looking at the data, we will talk about some of the things that we're doing to address what the data is telling us and how we're using it to drive instruction. This slide gives us basic information just to know which grade levels take which assessment. As you can see, third grade only took SC Ready ELA and Math, but the other grade levels, 4 through 8, took the SC Ready ELA Math, as well as SC Pass, Science, and Social Studies. Some basic facts to help us understand what the data is telling us is that this was our second administration of SC Ready. There were some changes in the scale score to vertically align the data. Some districts did paper and pencil. Some of them submitted a waiver to be able to do that, and they were approved to do that. And most of the districts did the assessment online. There are 4 levels for SC Ready. Does not meet expectations, approaching expectations, meet expectations, and exceed expectations. This is just a look at how the scale score was the previous year, just so that you can see the difference from how it was with our last administration of the SC Ready assessment. The scaling that was done was needed so that we can really monitor and see the growth and progress of our students. So it was really a good thing to do the vertical scaling so that we can look at the growth and the progress of our students over time. Looking at our 2-year change for ELA between 2016 and 2017, you can see the different categories that I mentioned earlier as far as does not meet, approaches expectations, meet expectations, and exceeds expectations. We had a very slight drop from 2016 to 2017. This was actually a trend throughout the state. So as you can see, there was also a decline in the state's overall average scores from 2016 to 2017. One factor that the state recognized as a variable which could have affected that trend and play a factor in that was that this was our first administration of the online assessment. And so that was one of the variables that the state mentioned that could have definitely played a part in the slight drop in the scores. Especially if we do not have the consistency with the method of instruction and our method of assessment. So as a result of that, our district is working hard on a plan to make sure that we do have that consistency and also to make sure that our students have more opportunities to use computers for classroom assignments, to use computers for assessments, just to make sure that they become more familiar and more comfortable using those when it comes time for the state testing. There's also a similar trend when we look at math, SC Ready, and that those are the same variables that we would consider when we look at that as well. And as you can see, again, with the state, 2016, our district, 35%, and the state was 42.6% as far as meeting expectations. In 2017, 32.7% for the district, and then 42.1% for the state. This data shows the comparison between our district and the state for ELA, SC Ready. We are below the state average in each grade level. However, we're very close to the state average in 8th grade ELA, English Language Arts. For ELA, this also includes a writing component, which is the text-dependent analysis. This type of item requires the students to read often lengthy passages or a text and then draw upon that text to provide information for their written response. So they have to use the evidence and the supporting details from the passages in order to draw upon their written passage. And it can be from any genre as well. In the past, for writing, the students were given a prompt, and from that prompt, they would just have to answer the prompt, and so that's what they were accustomed to. So we've provided more opportunities for students to become used to the text-dependent analysis format, as well as providing professional development for the teachers in order to help them with instruction for that type of assessment. We also see a similar trend for math. And again, we're looking at our 8th graders are closer to the state average as well. So we're seeing that that trend is following well with our 8th grade students. When we look at the comparison of our surrounding districts, we do see that we are not very far in relation to other districts that are around us, as well as when you look at the overall state average. So there are in some cases we may exceed the averages of the other districts. And there are also areas where we have a plan, and I will share later, as far as our strategies for improvement. This is also our first year. Last year in the spring was our first year for taking SC Pass online. In 2017, all students in grades 4 through 8 took science and social studies. The change that will happen this year in the spring is that science will only be taken by students in grades 4, 6, and 8, and grades 5 and 7 will take social studies versus how all of the students took it last year. There are 3 performance levels for social studies, which is how it has been in the past, so this is consistent to how it was leveled in the past. However, for 2017, SC Pass Science changed to 4 levels to be consistent with how SC Ready is leveled. So as a result of this change, we cannot really compare our scores for science to the previous years. And I think I must be on a timer because it keeps moving my slides. Sorry. Again, for science, our scores are very close to the state's average, with 24.9% of our students scoring meets expectations, and the state average being 26%. So very close to what is happening around our state. We do recognize that we also need to help more students move to the exceeds category, and we do have a plan in place that I will share a little bit later to work on that as well. Here we look at the data that's broken down by grade level. We've taken a deeper dive in the data to go beyond just grade level, but to also look at standards as well, to actually dive deeper to look at the standards. So we're using this data to actually drive our professional development, our planning, and our instruction. When we look at our SC Pass for social studies, you will see that we actually outscored the state average with the percentage of students scoring met on SC Ready Social Studies with 44.5% for our district and 40.1% for the state. We're very close to the state average for the total percent of students scoring met and exemplary, with the district being at 69.1% and the state 72.3%. Looking at the data here, you can see that we scored higher than the district average on SC Ready Social Studies in grades 6th, 7th, and 8th. Again, when we look at the districts that are surrounding Lawrence School District 55, we see that, again, that our scores are very similar for SC Pass, Science and Social Studies. In Social Studies, our scores exceeded those of Lawrence 56, Greenwood 50, and McCormick, with most of the scores being very close in relation to each other. We're definitely keeping pace with our surrounding districts, but our main focus are our children, and we're doing what's best for them and making sure that they receive the best education possible. So we're using this data to enhance teaching and learning so that we can improve student achievement while we're focusing on continuous improvement. Some mentionable variables that I mentioned earlier is that there's a change in the SC Ready scale, and that SC Ready, SC Pass, this is the first year that we district-wide did the online assessment for the first time. Also, with approval, we do plan to apply for a waiver for 3rd grade ELA students to take the assessment paper pencil. We're working to make sure we give them more opportunities to become more used to using the computer and for assessments, and to make sure that we're consistent with that method of instruction with them. With the high stakes of Read to Succeed, we definitely want to give them all the opportunities possible to make sure that they are successful. So addressing the data, the part that I feel like is definitely most important is what are we going to do next? What are our next instructional steps? So addressing the data, we're looking at the 4 different areas of our curricular focus, our instructional focus, professional development focus and support, and monitoring. As far as our curricular focus, we are having intentional focus on literacy across all content areas to make sure that literacy is relevant not just in the ELA classroom, but in all the content areas across the board. Reading, writing, speaking, listening, and vocabulary are our focus. We're continuing with our pre-K through 12th grade implementation of reading and writing workshop. There's a focus. By looking at the data, we realized that informational text was an area that we definitely needed more focus and more attention. So informational text is also an intentional focus that we have. I mentioned the text-dependent analysis, where our students are not as familiar with that type. So we've definitely spent more time getting the students practice and using some sample items, and also with just the professional development that our teachers are receiving to make sure that our students are prepared for that type of assessment. We still have our 30 for 30, where the students are reading 30 minutes each day and also 30 minutes at home each day. And also an increased focus on problem solving, number sense, and fluency in math. Also addressing the data, we have an instructional focus, implementation of AVIT in all of our middle schools. We have support for problem-based learning to teach students how to apply content. We have new this year the development of a new RTI system that we're using that provides a structured process for rapid response to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our students who may have some academic or behavioral needs as well. And we also have a plan for sharing resources to support parents while they help the students at home. Continue with our instructional focus. We are definitely focusing on our after-school and summer school interventions to make sure that we increase the impact. We want to make sure that the programs we have in place are actually the best things for our students, so we do have program evaluation. We're focusing on quality core instruction. We do know that if we have quality core instruction, then that would alleviate some of the needs for remediation and other interventions. So we really want to focus on providing quality core instruction in all of our classrooms throughout the district. Also focus on quality assessments, make sure that the assessments that the students are receiving are of good quality. Focus on underrepresented populations in our gifted and talented program. And for those students that are very close to qualifying, we're also working on some different strategies to push them to the next level. Working on some test preparation skills, some test-taking skills, and making sure our students have enough opportunities to use technology. And also math growth skills, which really does help us with our instructional next steps. Math skills basically helps us by building on and drilling down to pinpoint those specific gaps in students' learning. So our schools are using math skills as a way to monitor students' progress. And it definitely helps teachers with knowing what are those next steps for our students. Another area we are using with addressing the data is professional development focus. We have revised professional development offerings based on the data. We've have a development of a new professional development model this year. We have targeted professional development to support school leaders in the use of data and in best instructional practices. We have new staff and team assignments at different schools. And also just working on building capacity in administrators, instructional coaches, and teachers. Also monitoring. Monitoring is also a very big component to make sure that we're doing some progress monitoring along the way. As Ms. Brink stated earlier, we can't wait and just look at our end of the year assessment, but we have to progress monitor and look at the the progress and the growth along the way. So we do have some universal screening to support the examination of growth. We will use some district benchmarks and common assessments that we will begin mid-year. We have our instructional navigation boards that gives the focus for the day and for the lessons. Data dashboards, there are some displayed on the research webpage, as well as those were sent out to principals for them to be able to use and really be able to drill down to specific students and the needs of those specific students. Learning walks, where there's been district office staff that would go with principals to observe in classrooms and give specific feedback to help improve teaching and learning. As well as what I mentioned earlier in regards to program evaluation, we want to make sure that we're spending our time and our resources wisely so that the programs that really have an impact on student achievement are the ones that we're investing our time and resources in. Now we'll take a look at moving towards our state high school assessments, which WorkKeys, which is our career readiness assessment, our state ACT college readiness assessment, our end-of-course examination program, and our graduation rate. Just some basic information concerning WorkKeys. It is our career readiness assessment, as I mentioned before, and this is what all third-year high school students, there are 3 sections: the locating information, reading for information, and applied mathematics. And this is just a look at how the scoring works for WorkKeys. There's either no rank or there's a bronze, silver, gold, or platinum are the different levels of scoring for that assessment. When we look at this data, we can see how the students scored at each level in each area: the applied math, the locating information, and the reading for information. When we look at just overall as a whole, this is our district compared to our state for when the assessment was administered during the 2016-2017 school year. And this is the percent of students meeting platinum, gold, or silver. And you can see that the data is very comparable, our district to the state. And can see also that reading for information is our highest area of performance for WorkKeys. The state ACT is our college readiness assessment, where all third-year high school students, it's the same scoring as the Saturday administration of the ACT. The different sections are English, reading, science, and math. Again, this data is also very comparable to the state average. When you look at we're in the blue and then the state is in red. More specifically looking at the data for our district did improve in the overall composite score on the ACT, the state ACT. There was improvement in all areas from 2016 to 2017, with there being no change in mathematics. So we were very proud of those accomplishments and the increases and improvements overall in our ACT scores. With our end-of-course examination program, it is mandated by EAA of 1998 to administer end-of-course tests and benchmark courses for math, English, science, and social studies. Those courses are Algebra 1, English 1, Biology 1, and U.S. History. The EOC courses count 20% of students' final course grade. They're able to take some of the courses, the Algebra 1 and English 1 in middle school, and they take the other courses in the high school. These assessments are administered the last 15 days of the school year, which is different for this year. By the end of the student's third year in high school, all students have to take the end-of-course exam. Even those that may have a specific learning disability are required to take those end-of-course exams. When we look at our data for Biology 1, overall we did have a decline in our scores. We have a lot of things in place at the high school to make sure that we see and focus on improvement for these students. Some of the things that we're doing are providing iTutors for the students, and this is where it's designed for 10th graders, and they actually will have a live person that they can go to and that can help them at any point that they may have a problem. One thing that we also, with looking at the data and collaborating with the high school, we did have a long-term sub in a biology course, which definitely could impact the performance as well. We're definitely trying to give students more time and more help with science. So we're giving them environmental science in 9th grade and then offering biology in their 10th grade. Currently, the way it's set up is that the 9th graders a lot of times will end up taking all of their end-of-course or 3 courses in 1 year. So we're trying to work on some scheduling to help alleviate and ease that load for some of our students to also help with our performance as well. And we're also offering year-long courses instead of semester courses that give them more of an opportunity to learn the content and to be more successful. For English 1, you can see this is the percent of students with passing scores, and we're looking at the years 2015 through 2017. And for our district, and also with the state. So overall, we're doing fairly well with our English 1 scores. In 2017, we had 70.1% with passing scores for English 1. For Algebra 1, again, we do feel like providing those year-long courses will give those students more opportunities to be successful versus cramming all of the content into a semester. And again, with U.S. history, we did see a decline as well, but we are working with the high school and we're working on scheduling to make sure that we see improvements in this area as well. When we look at our graduation rate, we have it for looking at the state and for the district. And for our district, we have 81.1% as far as our graduation rate. And we're working on ways to make that even better by monitoring students and following up on those students to prevent dropouts. And also looking at some other alternative options for students that may need a different schedule. We see a lot of times where there's students who have to drop out because they have to work to take care of a family or things of that nature. So we're also looking at some other opportunities and some other alternative schedules to provide for those students so that they can be successful as well. Just looking at the future of high school state assessments, we have the college readiness assessment. When they administer this current school year, the parents get to choose for their child to either take ACT or SAT, or they could choose neither as the option. So versus before where all students took the ACT, this year the parents do get to choose which one that they will take, and they will be offered as a school day administration. So it will be offered at the school during the school day. For end of course English 1, there's a change with that as well. There's a text-dependent analysis that's an addition for English 1. And we have a new career readiness assessment that we will administer this year. But it has not yet been determined, so we're not really sure what that assessment will be yet, but we will take a career readiness assessment that could be Work Keys or it could be another assessment. So we're still waiting for the state to let us know which assessment we will take as our career readiness assessment. Some strategies to support increased achievement on end of course, and I've talked to some about some of these, is to continue to use strategies and interventions that we found from the data to be effective. Support implementation of the new math intervention model that includes Algebra Nation for Algebra 1, Khan Academy, iLunch opportunities, iTutor, and Study Island. Support teachers through monthly meetings with instructional coaches, as well as science and social studies department heads. Revise scheduling to allow for more year-long end-of-course classes instead of the semester, and also moving Biology 1 to the 10th grade instead of 9th grade. Just thinking ahead, just in the future of different things that we can do to ensure success and to really focus on that student achievement is to engage in a deep dive into data to inform instructional decisions regarding staffing, professional development, interventions, and enrichment, to front-load professional development for new hires so that they're better prepared for supporting student success in 2018-2019. The 2017 school report card has been released as well. The link is provided there for that. Is on the State Department's website, and it's interactive, so it has a different look and component, but it's interactive where you're able to go in and you can compare different districts, different schools within the district. So definitely take an opportunity to look at that. But looking at our state report card, I would like to mention just some of the highlights. We did have an increase in the number of students enrolled in dual enrollment courses, had an increase in the number of seniors completing college applications, an increase in the number of students participating in work-based experiences, and an increase in the number of students served in the Gifted and Talented program. We also had an increase in the number of students enrolled in AP courses. So I feel like those are definitely things we should celebrate as well. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
We're now reconvening an open session, and there was no action taken in the personnel matter that was discussed. So do I hear motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved by trustee Martin. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Beats. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Okay.